People will always say, you've been with him for long, people have been dating for a long time, so how will you say you are living? And a lot of people are stuck in that phase in their relationship where they feel like we've already gotten to a point where I can no longer live. Everybody knows us. But I want to ask, how far is too far before you can say, oh no, this relationship is not serving me, or this relationship is not healthy for me, and I want to leave. I need to leave for my sake, for my sanity, and for my future. First of all, welcome to Words from the Heart with Annie. I'm Anastasia. Today's story is about a girl who normally does not have long-term relationship, but she met someone. They met online of all places on Facebook. It happens, funny enough. But then things went really well. They started talking. They started with a joke actually, and she would expect that he would get turned off and just stop talking to her because of how she was making it sound like she wasn't serious about anything. But he got the humor in it, and she was like, "Oh, okay, this person is also not normal like me." They started talking, and she realized that he's currently doing his masters outside of Nigeria. She was in school in her final, so he was actually very understanding. Like, "Oh, you're a student. I know students need this. Let me send you something to go do that, and I'll do that." And I mean, we're girls, right? So she immediately had a sort of interest in him. But after some time, they had a little misunderstanding, and she stopped talking to him. He would text her a couple of times, but she stopped responding, and that was how they stopped talking. Fast forward to roughly 6, 7 months later, she started a business and she was sending out broadcast links and everything to people like, oh, please, I just started this business, this is my page, support me, follow me, help me reshare and repost. And she just did that like a broadcast message, and it went to even people she had not spoken to in a while, including this guy. Normally, everybody would expect that he would ignore her too, right? I mean, she ignored him first for weeks, not just a day. But he actually engaged, followed, and he even helped her repost to his friends. And she saw it on his story and everything. I was like, wow, this person is nicer than I thought. So probably I misunderstood him before. Let me reach out. So she actually reached out. They got to talking, and she actually apologized for the way she handled the conflict then. And they got back into the talking stage. Things progressed very fast after that. He took really good care of her, made sure she was okay, and literally was just very sweet and nice to her. By this time, she was in her second semester, about to graduate. Yes, ASU strike made the final year very long for her, so she was still in final year, but she was about to graduate this time around. So he started acting literally like a boyfriend, being concerned about everything she did. And when Christmas came that year, he was like, "Oh, when is she going home? He wants to send something so she will take it home." And she was like, "What do you mean take it home? My family doesn't even know that I have somebody I'm talking to. And I mean, I told you we're not dating yet. What do you mean?" And he said, stop it. I told you already. You're mine, right? So tell me, when are you going home? I want to send something." And she was like, "Okay, I'm going home next week." And he was like, "Okay, he's going to send it before she goes." He actually did. And she was like, "Wait, so you were serious? You're not joking?" He said, "Yes." So she was like, "Okay, so what am I supposed to tell them? Send this." I was like, tell them your husband to be. And that made her laugh. And she thought about it. And why just pocket this money? And I mean, the family would never know. But she decided to just give it to the family. I mean, he had already sent her something for herself too, so it made no sense being too greedy. And of course, any normal family would ask. I mean, they were like, who is giving us this thing? We don't know him. Oh. So then, don't worry, you don't need to know him. He's just a friend, and it's Christmas. Enjoy. The father, brother, mother, I was like, okay, well, we've heard. Tell him thank you. And that was it. But because they already got to know about him, they became more interested. They would always ask, and before you know it, that was how their relationship actually became a deep relationship. He had also told his family about her. In just a matter of months, there was already family introductions. Eventually, she asked him to come to Nigeria so they could, you know, make things proper. And he did. But when he came with the mindset of, oh, I want us to get married. And she was like, okay, I'm not against that, but I mean, you just came. We should at least get to spend time together first. I know it happens. There's arranged marriage and all, but she was the type that does not believe in just getting married to someone like that. She wanted to know the person on a more personal level because I mean everyone can relate to that fact where you talk to someone online, there's a very deep connection, but when you meet in person, it's blank. Be asking yourself like, is it this person I'll be talking to? I'm not sure. Why there are some people that when you meet in person, you have a very good rapport, but online you don't communicate well. So she just wanted to be sure that they could have a bit of both. At least it was reasonable. And it was really good, went really well. So the talk of marriage became more serious. There was an engagement and everything became serious, meeting of each other's families. But that was as far as it got, because there was still the issue of distance to resolve. So they decided to take time before doing the introduction and the marriage so they could do everything at once after they had sorted out the distance and how to solve the issue. And that became the next target. But life went on for everybody. They continued their schedule, service, work, and all that. It got to the period where they had finally agreed on what to do and they were supposed to get married. But by this time, this was already over 2 years and the communication was no longer the same. She noticed he did not reach out to talk to her as much as he usually would. And when she would reach out to talk to him, it would be brief. He would always have something to do, like, oh, he's going to work, he's going out. He'll talk to her when he gets back. And usually, when he goes out, they talk even throughout the outing. But then he would wait till the next day, or maybe the afternoon of the next day or evening, to be like, oh, when I got back, I was tired and I woke up late. I've been doing this. So she herself was already like, okay, oh, something is wrong somewhere. But she didn't know what. And everyone just let it be. Slowly, 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 the communication kept getting worse. Eventually, it got to a point where they started communicating. Hi, hello, have you eaten? Yes, hope you're fine. Yes, you fine. Same, good. Okay, take care. Talk later. Okay, have a good day at work. You too. Bye. At that time, it became clear that things were not working. But just a few weeks before it got to this point, the wedding plans were in full force. She had contacted an event planner. She was contacting vendors and trying to put things in place. Now, the person who had been pushing for the wedding preparations, which was the guy, suddenly became cold. Started saying things like, oh, just hold on. I've not sent you money for the things yet. I'll do everything once. Once I send the money, we'll do everything once. It doesn't take time to plan a party. My family will plan parties a lot. We're a large family. My this is that. My mom is this. We'll just do everything once. Just relax. I got you. I'll do everything. You don't need to stress yourself. And that was eventually when she gave up because it felt like he was not ready to plan anything with her, even up to deciding the theme of their wedding. And I just wait, just wait. She was like, but this one's not involve money now. Let's just know. And just wait first. I'm working on something. She said okay, and she just gave up. And eventually the communication got to that robotic stage and everyone just let it be. Then finally it got to weeks of no communication at all. Eventually he would reach out to her and say something along the lines of we need to talk. And she was like, fine, let's talk. What's up? No, let's not do this on text. I'll call you. It's a phone conversation. Okay, fine. Call me when you're free. That day went by. She reached out like, oh, I didn't hear from you. Can I call now? Since you did not call me. No, don't worry, don't call. I'll call you soon. She said, okay. More days went by. There was still no call. By this time, the families were already aware that something was seriously wrong. And because she was the one in Nigeria, she was the one everyone was asking, why are you not talking to him as you usually do? It's been days, I've not seen you on call with him. I've not heard you put talk. You've not gone to see his people, like things like that. And even from his family side, now this was a family that had accepted her with open arms, right? The dad, there's a tradition in his own family where they have to do a certain um like he'll give you money each time you come and according to them the form of I accept you, something along that line. And he would always do that to her. Even when she was serving and all, he would always do that, like, oh, she should not worry. She would also take gifts to the family, oh, but they'll keep telling her, don't stress yourself. Let's take care of you. She would spend time with the mom and help them with family activities. There was really proper family introduction. So there was really nothing, no hiding shakara or forming, anything like that. And the mom had, what was that? I think it's a Bini tradition. I don't know if I'm wrong. If I'm wrong, someone can correct me. Where you have to give material, wrapper to your daughter-in-law to be. That's the mother-in-law's way of saying, I accept you. And she had already done that. In fact, she gave her that wrapper the first day she met her. So there was this instant likeness and connection. And they had constant communication too. But as the communication was dying between her and her partner, it was also dying between both families. So when everyone started asking, she doesn't know, we're just not talking. We were like, what do you mean you're not talking? This is someone you've been with for long. Please don't say people want to break up. We don't do that. you've gone too far. You can't say that now. This person cares, he loves you. Don't say that. And they continue though. After some weeks, he finally called and he said the reason he didn't reach out to her all this while was because he was testing her to see if she would call him, that she doesn't care, and so he does not think the relationship would work. I bet she was confused. She was like, "What do you mean I don't care? The distance I keep traveling to go see your family, spend time with them, am I doing that because I'm trying to do eye service? Or if it's not because I want to bridge the gap?" I said, "Okay, no problem. I don't care, right? I did not reach out to you. The multiple times I texted, like, what's up? You did not say anything. When you reached out and said we needed to talk, and I reminded you a couple of times, you still went silent and ignored me. Anytime I asked what was wrong, you said nothing. I'm overthinking." Anybody that does not know that gaslighting in its form, that was what you were doing. So what do you mean I don't care? Well, okay, since I don't care, fine. We've already gotten to a point where it seems like we are both strangers now, so let's just let it be. And that was how they broke up. Funny enough, he did text her some weeks after that, or rather some days after that. But coincidentally, that fateful day he texted her, she had misplaced her phone the night before, and the person that found her phone told her to pick it up the following afternoon. Before she could get her phone back, he had texted her earlier that day, and I guess when he thought she did not respond, he deleted the message. At least that's all anyone can assume, right? But she noticed the message was deleted, so she just decided to let it be. Since you don't want to say what you want to say, I won't disturb you. And eventually they went no communication for good. But now, this decision did not come lightly. I mean, it's not easy for anyone to just let go of a relationship of a few months. Now, imagine a relationship that's already been going on for years, where you've already done introduction and you've already introduced your family to this person and his family already knows you too. You've done your engagement too. You literally were planning your wedding. And you also had to forfeit the deposit and everything you've done with the event planner. Everything had to be let go of because it was useless. So there was also a financial loss as well as emotional loss and time. And time is the only thing you can never get back. So it was not a decision that came lightly. But both parties believed they had gotten to a point where they've gotten to realize that indeed they would never work as a couple, or at least so it seemed. Now the family did not readily accept this decision from either of them, but because one party was the only one in Nigeria, she got the blunt force of the whole drama that happened. It affected her in ways she did not imagine. It messed her up. She struggled to find a new balance, but she believed in the fact that it is better to have a broken relationship than a broken marriage. So that was what comforted her and kept her strong will, if I must say. But less than 3 months, roughly 2 months and some days, she would be online and a friend of his would post wishing him happy married life. And it was not even a recent post. So she went to check and this person had been posting it for days before now. So he got married like 2 weeks after 2 months after they broke up. And she reached out to him and was like, "Hey, congratulations, that's why you got married." And he said, "Yes, thank you." And she was like, "Okay, so why did you not just explain that you already are starting to have feelings to someone?" I mean, that's the only thing that can explain why you were not willing to communicate or even explain what was wrong or try to reach out and made everybody think I was the one overreacting, or maybe I was not willing to work things out. And he said, "No, I actually met her after you. Let me give a little story, or rather info, about this person. Like I said, he's not in Nigeria. He traveled down to get married. The girl was in Nigeria too. Is it? I know people say you can meet somebody and get married the following month too. I'm not against that. But I think in most cases where that happens, you are both in the same vicinity, right? You see each other, spend time together. I don't think is anyone would want to believe, or rather, I don't think it's believable that you meet someone online and marry them in 2 months without meeting the family, without any form of arrangement, booking your tickets and everything. I mean, those takes time to plan, right? And you were planning a wedding just before this. But you came, you did your engagement some weeks after you did the marriage. And yes, his family was there. And that was the reason why the communication with her had gone down. But here's the thing, till now she cannot even explain, oh, this is why we broke up. She just keeps saying, we just stopped talking. It just happened. And just because she saw the marriage stuff, that's the only thing that could say, oh, he got someone else. But when did he start dating? Was he dating this other person all along? Was the period of no contact just a way of pushing her away so he could focus on this one after he had made his choice? Did he engage both of them around the same time and just kept one a secret? I mean, it's crazy, right? People will say this a lot, like, it doesn't matter even if you're taking to his family, don't believe it. And I'm trying to believe that's true because I've seen this happen more than once. The family would see the guy bringing different girls to them and they would not say anything. I know there are some families that you cannot try that with too. Any girl you bring to them, they will accept, and you cannot bring another person. But it's becoming more rampant for a guy to bring different girls and introduce to the family as the one he wants to marry, and they would accept it. This is not, oh, he's just dating different girls outside. Oh, he's literally introducing them to his family, father, mother, siblings, and all. I mean, shouldn't there be a level of respect to your family where you don't do that? But anyway, I guess we'll never know. Maybe if it was a movie, we would have seen a behind the scenes and find out when exactly all this happened, or actually get to understand why it happened. But this is real life, right? We would never know unless the guy in question decides to say what really happened, but he never did. And she can only say her part. So that is all we have, unfortunately, on this story. But what do you think? What do you think actually caused their separation? And I want to know, does this story, rather, did this story make you change your mind about the fact that it is never too late to leave a relationship? Or are you still one of those that believe that, hey, I've been with him for long, I've been with her for long, I cannot date anybody else? We'll make it work. Let's just manage. Is that your mindset? I'm not saying this mindset is wrong or this mindset is right. It's an age long question. When is it ever too late to leave a relationship that seems to have no future? It's easier to tell someone to leave a relationship when there's signs of physical abuse, domestic violence, but we often tend to overlook the emotional abuse part of relationship, the mental abuse, when you're no longer able to do anything productive for yourself simply because you're in a relationship that is traumatized and mentally unbalanced. Single moments of the day, you are not yourself. You are lost in thoughts. You are a walking ghost. You are unable to socialize with friends because you are thinking. Is that reason enough to leave a relationship? Can communication, proper communication, actually resolve such issues? Now, every relationship has a period where there's a dry phase and you have to work hard, or rather be determined to get past it. But how do you identify a relationship that still has a future but is just currently going through a rough patch, and a relationship that has no hope again? Because this our generation now, is either we are stuck in an abusive relationship, or once we just see somebody and he's saying, or she is saying, I don't like you, yeah, nah, bye bye, I not do again. How do we find the balance between this? Because I still believe a healthy society starts from a healthy home. When we have more healthy relationships, we're able to produce better mentally and emotionally stable individuals, because we can teach them morals, values, and things on how to be a proper human, both the male child and the female child. So when is it ever too late to leave a relationship? Let me know in the comment section, and I hope you enjoyed today's story. That'll be all on Words from the Heart with Annie. Please follow my page. I tell stories like this all the time. Thank you. Bye bye.